I was home alone with Night. It was about 9 p.m. and both Night and I were in the mood for playing Catch Me If You Can. Our house porch is an elongated alleyway wide enough to park two cars. There's a slider gate in front, and on the far right we have a huge garden with plants and loungers. Usually I turn the porch and garden lights on so it's easier for me to see. Since a few days the garden lights had stopped working and my family kept forgetting to get them fixed because we barely sat in the garden at night. I turned the porch lights on and realized that there was not enough moonlight, and all I could see were dark shapes in the garden, and at least recognizable under the cloudy moonlight. When we were playing, Night usually likes me to chase her first. It's almost impossible to catch her since she runs so fast and she has excellent reflexes, knowing when to dodge me and how to trick me. We continued with our game and I chased after Night for about 15 minutes before I heard the phone ring from our living room. Night halted to a stop, her ears standing in alarm. I walked over to her and pet her head. "I'll be right back, Night. Good girl." I ran inside to answer the phone. It was my sister. She said they were going to return late. I said it was no problem. Hung up. She said they were going to return late. I said it was no problem. Hung up and rushed outside. "Night!" I called, unable to see her anywhere in the porch. "Night, that's cheating!" I laughed, looking for her all around the porch. When I reached the garden, I saw her figure in the corner, just standing with her back turned at me. I got to my knees and silently crawled towards her. I'm sure I caught her by surprise as I grabbed her and tackled her gently to the ground. I held her collar and began stroking her fur. "Gotcha!" I yelled in triumph, feeling roughness in her fur. Huh. Strange, I just bathed her yesterday. Night did something very unusual. Instead of laying down and licking my hand like she usually would do, she started struggling. "No, that's not fair. I caught you and it's your turn now." I heard a low, husky growl. It wasn't anything like Night had ever done before. Maybe she was angry that I caught her? "I'm not letting you go." I laughed. "It's your turn to catch me now. Come on, where's your sportsman spirit?" As a response, I heard an unmistakable whimper, the kind of noise Night made when she was scared. It wasn't coming from wherever I was hoping. Confused, I looked at the opposite corner where I suspected the noise had come from. I saw luminescent green eyes, undoubtedly those of Night's. What what was I holding and petting then? Immediately I let the collar go from my hand and saw the figure dash with great speed and disappear in thin air. I ran out of the garden, terrified. I had never experienced something like this before. My heart was racing wildly and cold sweat poured down my forehead. I hugged Night tightly, looking around for whatever I had just grabbed hold of. I couldn't see anything. I ran my hand across Night's neck, trying to grasp for her collar to make sure she didn't escape, so we could both go inside and wait for my parents to return. And then I noticed it. Chills ran down my spine as I realized that whatever had just happened wasn't just a hallucination or a trick of my mind. Night wasn't wearing her collar.